Hey guys, welcome back. Let's draw that second flowchart which will show how gonadotropin secretions are being regulated. This is only a prospective diagram in context to the lecture of follicular dynamics. In my master lectures, we will see what are GnRH neurons, what are GnRH centers, what are the different types of stimulants which regulate the secretion of GnRH, what is LH, what is FSH, what are their molecular mechanisms of action. Stay tuned for these lectures which are coming soon. But with respect to this lecture, I am showing only the key typical regulatory pathways by virtue of which these hormones show a crosstalk mechanism. Let's draw that master diagram. I am coming to one of the most important structures of the body, that is a neuroendocrine center commonly known as the hypothalamus. Everybody knows about this structure which is said to be the core center of endocrine axis. This hypothalamus shows two distinct centers with respect to our concept. One is known as the Surge center, and one is known as Tonic Center. The Tonic Center causes basal secretions of, this point is important, basal secretions of GnRH, and here the pulse of secretion is less and frequency of excitation is also less. Surge center, on the other hand, causes excess, that means up to 100 folds, 80 to 100 fold increase in secretion of GnRH. It is, I can use on burst of GnRH. And second, here the pulse secretion is very high and frequency of pulsation or excitation is also very high. Now coming to the parts. The Surge center is located at two nuclei. That is the number one. This number one is important. That is suprachiasmatic nucleus. This is one. I can say A, and B. The second one is the preoptic nucleus, and these are stimulated by the excessive levels of estradiol 17 beta. This is that point, excessive level. Then only they can be stimulated. Now coming to the two other centers, for example, Tonic Center, here one is known as, the first one is known as the Arcuate Nucleus. The Arcuate Nucleus, this is one of the points to be remembered, and the second one is the ventromedial nucleus. The ventromedial nucleus. These are the two centers which are causing the secretion of the GnRH, and their stimulant is mostly regulating the FSH, follicle stimulating hormone releasing hormone. That means it is mostly regulating the secretion of FSH. So this is a take home point. And here these two nucleus mostly regulate LH HRH, luteinizing hormone releasing hormone, and they mostly regulate the hormone LH from the anterior pituitary that will draw separately. Now question arises, see my black pen. How this regulation occurs? Now these Sarge and Tonic Center, they regulate the adenohypophysis, and that's what we are saying as anterior pituitary. And here anterior pituitary, we are having two types of cells, that is luteotroph cells which mostly secrete LH, the point to be noted, and this adenohypophysis contains the follicular-top cells which secrete FSH. So point to be noted, that means this hormone GnRH is the master regulator of this center. You can see my green pen here, the GnRH that is playing the most important role in regulating the center. Now question arises, now let's continue. This FSH what you are seeing, I can draw a diagram like this. This FSH acts on the follicles, and in the follicles, point to be noted, it mostly acts on the granulosa cells where it try to increase the expression of the enzyme aromatase, which is a cyclic AMP pKa dependent signaling. Stay tuned for my next lecture on molecular mechanism of action of FSH and LH. There we'll see. This aromatase is the enzyme which convert the androgen, particularly the testosterone, that's the important, it will convert into this estradiol 17 beta. This is the master regulator of that. But try to understand the point. The point is that follicular growth, follicular maturation is totally dependent on FSH. FSH peaking from the prior of 2 to 3 days of the ovulation process creates that environment where the recruitment selection process will go on. And by virtue of this, the follicles gradually increase in the size, my previous lecture. And once that size is increasing, they are gradually start secreting more and more amount of estradiol beta, 17 beta. The secretion of the estradiol 17 beta up to the stage of the selection is okay. That is not going to do anything. Rather, it will start stimulating gradually the source center, but it needs the peaking, high levels, and that's known as the estrogen dependent LH surge. And what the point is, now see this point, this LH, it mostly acts on the thicker cells. On the thicker cells, it causes the cholesterol to be uptaken, and again cyclic AMP pKa dependent pathway. Stay tuned for this lecture. On this cholesterol will be uptaken, then pregnenolone, androstenedione, and ultimately it will be converted to testosterone. As I said earlier, this testosterone will be taken up by these granulosa cells. And further try to understand, when the follicle is getting ready, the point to be noted, when the follicle is getting ready for the process of ovulation, that means dominant or the pre-ovulatory follicle, the granulosa cells also develop receptors for LH. This point is important. Unless and until there is a development of LH receptors on the granulosa cells, further process into follicular growth cannot occur. And this is one of the points for which the follicles undergo maturation regression, that's known as atresia. They are failed to grow further. So that means this development of the LH receptors on the granulosa cells. I can add here another point. As you know that FSH is doing, I am also adding this is LH sensitive. This LH sensitive will cause the granulosa cells to enhance the secretion of estradiol beta, and this is the reason for which the estradiol secretion or increases from the pre-ovulatory follicle or the dominant follicle. And by virtue of this estradiol 17 beta, now I am concluding this estradiol beta has a role. This point is, see my red one, and this will now act on this surge center. You can see my picture in the red one. And here the estradiol 17 beta, I am writing here estradiol 17 beta, this will act on the surge center, and by virtue of this surge center, now GnRH is secreted, and this GnRH secretion, GnRH is now showing surge secretion up to 100 picogram per ml secretion occurs just prior to this estradiol 17 beta stimulation, and this will cause more and more LH secretion, and that LH will act on this matured follicle. As we are having the matured follicle inside the ovary, this matured follicle, or I can use the word pre-ovulatory follicle, to undergo the process of ovulation. And please do not forget to visit my original lecture on ovulation, where you will come to know that how this ovulation process dynamically occur in the presence of LH. But the story is not yet over. Now see this green one. When the follicle is maturing, I can put another one here. I can say a dominant follicle or a matured follicle, and this dominant follicle is ready to undergo ovulation. That means it's a pre-ovulatory follicle under FSH, and that also secretes a hormone inhibin. This point to be noted, see just the green, and this inhibin acts on, this point is important, it acts on the folliculotropic cells negative, and what it causes, it inhibits. Due to this, the FSH secretion is decreased, and when the FSH secretion decreased, the point to be noted, please focus on this point, this is that take home point of the total one. When the FSH decreases, and if the growing follicles, they have failed to develop LH receptors on their granulosa cells, then they will not respond to FSH because FSH level is decreasing because of this inhibin. How beautiful crosstalk is going on. And due to this falling FSH, now further follicular growth, maturation, development cannot occur. And by virtue of this, these follicles now undergo the process of degeneration. That's being known as atresia. So this is the whole soul study. I can summarize in one line. During the process of recruitment and selection, some of the follicles get severe sensitivity to FSH. They grow in size. Their granulosa cells and theca cells are greatly organized. Second, once the granulosa cells are organized, they try to develop the LH receptors. Already, LH receptors are present on the theca cells, theca interna cells. So, LH functions on the theca interna to uptake the cholesterol and synthesize the male androgen, that is testosterone. this testosterone enters the granulosa cells where it gets its counter enzyme known as aromatase, and that converts this testosterone into estradiol 17 beta. But the circulating level of this 17 beta, estradiol 17 beta, is low, is not able to stimulate the SER center. But when the further growth occurs and the follicle reaching a size of 14 to 16 or 17 or 18 diameter, that means it is fully a dominant or a pre-ovulatory follicle, then concentration of estradiol 17 beta jumps up, because granulosa cells also shows the LH receptor, same cyclic AMP-PK dependent mechanism, and by virtue of this, what happens now, the concentration of estradiol 17 beta jumps up. So around 8 to 12 times, it can go up to 25 times, and that estradiol beta, this red line, it will go and stimulate the SER center. GnRH high pulsation is seen, LH-RH axis is activated, LH is secreted, which causes ovulation. Simultaneously, it also secretes inhibin, which is really an inhibitor of the folliculotrough cells at the adenohypophyseal level, anterior pituitary level. This estradiol beta is here, but the inhibin is here. So due to this, FSH will fall, and as those follicles which are failed to develop the FSH receptors, they undergo degeneration or atresia. That's the whole story is. So it is one of the most fundamental point. And last, this estradiol beta, what you are seeing, along with this, it also causes, this point is important, behavioral stress. Behavioral stress. That means it activates the amygdala, the limbic pathways of the brain, and it stimulates behavior which will suit the female to attract the male, or the male will know that the female is interested for mounting. And that's the story about behavioral stress. Changes in the vagina, changes in the uterus, changes in the contour of the oviduct and the ovary are also dominant, because they are getting ready for the process to receive the sperm to carry out fertilization and ongoing events. So stay tuned for my next lecture, where I am going to draw another master diagram where I will show how the follicles are recruited, selected, then dominant occurs either in the wave format or they undergo the process of atresia. Stay tuned.